and learning to code. We are continuing on here at Code Wars. We are kicking off the first of the 9th month. Somewhat impressive. 9 months of commitment to a rather questionable idea. So far, it's proven to be interesting. Continuing down that path, we are looking for a new CADA for day 244. We are still in the midst of level 6 here at Code Wars. We do have still the weather project looming over us, but we'll save that for another time where we're just, I don't know. Damn that weather project. That's all I have to say about it. Most completed, level 6, and fundamentals. Most completed, level 6, fundamentals. We have the 2 that we still need to finish in general, but we made our ways pretty far down the list of things to do. Now, I couldn't remember. There was equal sides of an array and build a pile of cubes. Yesterday we did count duplicates, but now we're faced with, I remember, and even though there's a lot of instructions, it's fairly straightforward. We're given an array, and we need to be able to choose a point like 100. I remember this one. You need to be able to choose the point at the array where everything to the left is equal to everything on the right. So if we chose index 1, that leaves us on the left, it's equal because that's 1, and then 50 minus 51 is negative 1, plus 1 brings us to 0, plus 1 brings us to 1. So 1 and 1, the sums are equal, and that's basically it. Interestingly enough, 0 index can be selected for this one because an empty array they consider to be equal to 0, and then all this other stuff sums up to 0 as well. So you're left with 10 to the end of the array. Good times. Do we want to tackle this one, or do we want to do build a pile of cubes? I don't think we've looked at the instructions for build a pile of cubes. So from the top, your task is to construct a building, which will be a pile of n cubes. The cube at the bottom will have a volume of n cubed. The cube above will have a volume of n minus 1 cubed, and so on until the top notch, which will have a volume of 1 cube. All right. You're given the total volume, M, of the building. Being given M, being given M, can you find the number n of cubes you will have to build? The parameter of the function find NB, find NB, find NB, find NB, 3 parameters, will be an integer m, and you have to return the integer n, such as n cubed plus n minus 1 cubed, blah, 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 all the way down to 1 cubed equals m. If such an n exists, or negative 1, m equals if such an m and n's. Tongue twisters. Yet again, starting right at midnight, right as we lose all mental capacity. Equals m if such an n exists, or negative 1 if there is no such n. Find blankety blankety blank 45 to blankety blankety blank, no amount of cubes will ever make us happy. So both seem pretty damn terrible. Let's also look, because it seems, to be honest, nowhere near as awful as those two. I'm leaning towards the equal sides one. I think I might be able to wrap my head around that one fairly. I think that's just mostly addition nonsense. What was this, though? Well, met with the Fibonacci bigger brother, aka Tribonacci. As the name may already reveals, it works basically like a Fibonacci, but sums the last 3 instead of the last 2. Number sequence. Worst part, regrettably, I won't get to hear, yes, my terrible pronunciation. We start 1 1 1 1 1, aka signature. We have the sequence 1 2 3, adds up 3. We take the current minus 2 and sum it, equals 5. We take the new one minus 2, sum it, equals 9. You know how we've been doing for loops and if statements? The last, I don't know, it's probably been a week and a half now. It seems like either every CADA or every other CADA we've been setting up, and we've finally come to terms with the fact that as we go to make something, as we go to set a variable, no, as we go to check a variable in our for loop via an if statement or whatnot, we can also set a variable at the same time, and then it becomes kind of cyclical and feeds off of itself. I think instead of setting one variable up like that, I think we could do 2, and I think they would end up doing what we need. But if we started with 0 0 0 as a signature, is starting with 0 1 instead, 1 1 basically shifts the common blankety blank. Well, 0 0 0 would still be 1. And then you'd be left with 0 1 1, which would be 2, and so forth, and 4, and blah, and just the party continues. Well, you may have guessed it by now, but to be clear, you need to create a Fibonacci function that, given a signature array list, returns the first n elements. Signature included of the so-seeded sequence. Signatures will always contain 3 numbers. N will always be a non-negative number, n equals 0, then return an empty array and be ready for anything else which is not clearly specified. Still kind of confused. If you enjoy this CADA, more advanced and generalized versions can be found here, thanks to their professor. Yeah. Okay, so, sack of death. Which one should we do? Taking on nonsense, or we're not doing the cube fiasco. We're not doing the cube fiasco because it's a Friday night. Technically, we're into Saturday morning now, but no, we're not doing the cubes. Input an integer array of length greater than 0, less than 1,000. Numbers in the array can be any positive or negative integer. Lowest index n. The side to the left of n is equal to the side of the right. If you don't find an index that fits these, you will return. I think this right here is exactly, well, I mean, they tell us what the output is, but writing that as a code to the left of n. So that would be, I'd assume n is the parameter that they give us for the function. N would be the character of the array. The array would be anything, well, we'll just call it variable array. And for our for loop, screw the for loop, we can have array n is equal to if array n is equal to 0, array 0 to n. How do we say? So we would be slicing. We'd be slicing. Or splicing? It'd either be slice or splice. It'd be 0. Maybe it'd be splice. Slice? Let's try slice. It'd be array slice 0. Array slice 0, comma, array n, or just n, because it cuts off just before n. Now, what if it is 0, like this? What do we do in that case? What if n is 0? Array something. Array, a female deer. Damn. What if n is 0? Maybe it could be a switch statement, an else. Because then afterwards, if you do slice, you can cut from n, but n's included in it. N is included in it. But you only need to provide one parameter when you're using slice, and if you just provide 1, comma, nothing, it goes all the way to the end of the array. So it would be array n plus 1, I think. Pretty sure. Array n plus 1. Alright, we might be able to figure out that an empty array of 0 should also be treated like a 0. Maybe a switch statement. You know what? I also think I have another CADA that would come close to solving this. What about this guy? What would we do? So, I mean, we already started piecing together that one somewhat. Fibonacci nightmare. We need the first 3. How do we tell it to add up only 3? It would be... So we'd start with that, and we have to go from there. So they give us the first 3. We get our array. Is it... It's push that adds. So we would simply be adding the sum. And then we'd cycle back through. So it'd be array blankety blankety blank. Is it reduce? And reduce takes 2 parameters. Probably A plus B, I think, and it would cycle through the array. But we only want it to go back 3. We could take... It's always going to give us 3. Do I want to figure out how to do that? Or the other one? Let's just do this one. Equal sides. Fibonacci. We'll do the equal sides. There's enough debate on that. Let's commit. Let's do this. Okay. We are given an array. The array was blankety blankety blank. N. Blah 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 blah. 1. Oh, right, 0 index. So 3 is really the 4th spot because it's 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. 1 is something or other. 0 and then 1. That's our example that we initially read. And some other good stuff. -1 exists. There's nothing in here. None of these you can pick to get equal sides. So, yeah. So they just give us the whole array. And we need to find the midpoint. We need to find where array I is equal to blankety blankety blank and to blankety blankety blank. I think we're going to do splice and reduce. Slice and reduce, technically. The code goes here. What do we want to do? What are we looking for? Variable. If we want to do this out of the gates, we already have our array. So, do we really just dive straight into the for loop? I can wrap my head around the for loop easiest, so let's do that. Because I know we want to look at each index individually, at least initially. However, if we're using reduce and slice, do we really need to look... Do we need to set up a for loop? We need an if statement. Hey, COSIQQ. Can you, too long, didn't read, tell me what you need to do in this CADA? Too lazy to read it. So, get a good look at this. Can I highlight without it blowing up on me? Alright, the goal is to take an array, and we need to find the index where, when you choose it, the left side of the index is equal to the sum of the right side, excluding the selected index. So here would be 100, and we return index 1, again, 0 index, so 0 and then 1, but that's because the sum to the left is 1, and then you've got 50 minus 51, that's -1, plus 1 brings us to 0, plus 1 brings us back to 1. 1 and 1, technically, summed out all of... Oh, God. Why can't we highlight 1, 2, there? That's 1 to 1. So, yeah, that's what's going down. So, the correct answer is 100 is that midpoint that balances out the left and right side. So, yeah, good times. It is possible to have the very first one be the correct answer, because they treat it as 0, basically. There's nothing to the left of it. And this all balances out to 0 as well. 10 minus 80 plus 10 plus 10 and 15 and 35, all of that comes out to 0, just like if you were to eliminate 20, all that would be left is 0. So that is the nightmare we are currently up against. I'm thinking of doing, I believe it's reduce, that adds all the, compares each index one after another, either adding or subtracting or doing whatever you need it to do, and also using either slice or splice. I can't recall. It's one of those, but I wanted to use those two in tandem, in conjunction. Jesus, even those have an if statement? No, they just had a do this area below them, inside of that little method for each. Yeah, we'll set up an if statement. It's going to get weird, so just kind of bear with me. Maybe I want to type out a for... I'm just going to type out a for loop so I can emotionally comprehend what exactly I'm looking at, being the caveman programmer that I am. Not comma, I less than, not I, array, yes, I less than array dot length, d plus plus. Now, in here, we were going to do something like, if we'll replace all this nonsense with reduce and slice or splice in just a moment. If something or other, COSEQQ. Okay, so you just filter the array without specified number in sum every array number. What? Wait, so you just filter the array without a specified number and sum every array number. So if I say not, because the filter one, I could do, return greater than, value greater than 10. So it'd return all numbers greater than 10. So if I just filtered without a number and summed them all, just do value plus equals whatever the hell it is, or whatever I could set up like, a variable, sum plus equals value for each. It would give me all of that totaled. So technically, since this all equals 0, that would be 20. And then what would I do with that? If I have that, I would tell it to look for that number. I would say find the index of this. Does that really work for the other one? 1 and 100. So that would be 15, -1. That'd be 102. How would I tell that? 101, 151. Minus 51, back down to 100. 1 is 101 plus 1, 102. So what would I tell it if it were 102? COSEQQ. Well, not filter. Splice, because it's index. Okay, yeah, no, that makes way more sense. I thought you were coming up with some total clever fix. Yeah, no, that's why I was on the slice/splice train as my initial run through. That and reduce. Reduce and splice was my initial guess, and then maybe splice or slice, one of those. AA Scripts, hi, what are you doing? I am piecing together this nightmare. We are trying to find, once more, briefly, the index, the midpoint, really, of where the left side is equal to the right side. See? And then we return the index for that midpoint, where everything to the left is equal to everything to the right. This is 1 because 50, negative 51 gives us negative 1, plus 1 brings us to 0, plus 1 again brings us back to 1. So, ta-da, 100, or index 1, more accurately, is our magic number. So let's continue over here. I'm piecing together the caveman version of this before I go diving into the reduce and slice or splice methods, just to come to terms with what exactly I'm up against. So for blankety blank, for variable I equals 0, I less than array length, if array I well, that's not right at all. We want to return the array I if we don't even want to return the actual value of array I. We don't even want that. We simply want to find out if everything to the left, so some variable, you know what a great name for a variable. Variable left. I can live with that. Variable left. Ta-da. Is equal to variable right. Equals something. Do we want the sum together? I don't know what data type to reference this crap as. Maybe I don't even need a data type. Maybe I just do. Maybe I just leave the variable names. I could see that happening. Variable left, variable right. So if left is equivalent to blank and no, if left is equal to right, return something. Return index of array index of something index not that. Array dot index of I. Yeah, something like that. Oh, maybe it's probably shit. Bad Steven. Oh no. Syntax nightmare. Don't cry. Don't cry. Just pretend everything's fine. Should there be brackets? Everything hurts. My soul is on fire right now. Yeah, we're gonna be fine. AA scripts. Jesus, that looks complicated. Sarcasm? No? I can't tell. I feel like I'm still doing a bunch of easy stuff. I'm pretty sure it's just, I think they were just really thorough in their instructions. I don't know if it's actually hard. Maybe it is. I don't really have a gauge for difficulty either. I mean, I have a gauge for progress because I've been doing all of these sites for the last 240 plus days. So I know how far into a site I am, but I don't know in like real world context how difficult or technical the things I'm learning about are. Basically, it's been me trapped in this room, so not a whole lot of outside references aside from the sites that I'm currently focused on. But again, all of those sites are focused on my personal journey, so hard to tell. But sure, we'll agree that it looks complicated. Yes, this looks daunting, but whether it actually is, you'd need to ask someone who's more knowledgeable than me. In the meantime, though, continuing on, for variable I equals I, something about length. So if left is equal to right, then we want to return the index of array I. I think it's actually array I. That seems really, really redundant, but I'm going to live with that. I'm okay with having that there. The return inside of the if and the for is kind of weird. I might want to change that to push later, but we'll leave it as is. For now, we will do our else. Else. Isn't it return a -1? Like, it should be really straightforward. At least I thought that's what they wanted. Return -1. Still 98% sure I shouldn't be returning inside of the for loop. Again, I don't know if the don't return inside of a for loop applies to other things inside the for loop, like an if statement or whatever else. I think they mean when it's on the same level, scope, to be more technical. Anywho, what are we looking for? We are continuing on. We will now we're going to convert this noise into actually utilizing stuff. And I think these won't actually just be variable placeholders. This is where all the slice nonsense comes into, or splice. Maybe some reduce action. So variable left. What bothers me is this. Is the fact that it can be 0 and it still returns 0 to the left of it because it's considering it empty, because it's removing that value. That throws a wrench into my plan. I can better visualize this because there is content to both the left and the right. Which means I think that's either an if statement or some other fucking nightmare. What would I do? Okay, so if I am a variable and I want to find something to do, things are going into me. This is going to end in flames. Slice. Let's check out MDN. Let's step away from this for a moment. MDN slice? Possibly. Slice and splice. The slice returns a shallow copy of a portion of an array into a new array object selected from beginning to end and not included. The original array will not be modified. Super death. Now, before, we knew 100 was the answer going into it, so we were just going to put the index of something there, but we're trying to find at what point to cut this. Where can and how can I determine that? Here we have the original, which is a, 0, 1, 2, 3, and then we have a new variable, sliced, which is a dot slice, and the given parameters. Includes 1, excludes 3. Or it can be left empty and it'll just go all the way to the end, but that really doesn't, you're not slicing anything at that point. Return a, 0, 1, 2, blah, 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 sliced, blankety, blankety, blank. Okay, so that's slice. Let's go back to our nightmare. We can close that. Array dot slice from 0 to, this is the bit we get to figure out. That is what we are working on now. AA scripts, what about the 100 at position 1? What do you do with that value? It's basically, damn. What do you do? We are excluding that. I mean, we're returning. It's not included in the sum in the calculation. So here, we're trying to find which number in the array, at which point the left side and the right side are equal to each other. For this particular example, 100 is that midpoint, if you will, where everything to the left, the sum, is equal to the sum of everything on the right. 1 and after you compile all that, 1 again. So at that point, what we're returning, in the end, the output they want is the index of whatever that number is. So since it's 0, index 0, 1, 100 is index 1, right? We all know what's up. So that's what this ideally is for. Return array index of array I. Well, bastards, we don't really need that. That actually doesn't help anybody. Array I, that's just a bunch of noise. We don't need array I. We need something more specific than that. It's getting excluded, and we're returning that. Orc, ORC? It's got to be orc. Orc tamer, slice, psh, I cut you. Hayacha, right? I feel you, orc. I feel you. Although, what I'm not feeling is this. This is all kinds of hell. I would, not gonna lie, I would welcome a cut if it ended all of this nightmare, because this is just, it's beginning to feel tragic. We were looking at slice, and we also wanted to compare it with reduce. Because we want to be able to tally up all this crap inside of it. Do we need splice at all? I don't think we need splice. Splice method changes content, removing things, not quite what we want. No, not for me. Not for me. Okay, getting rid of that. Reduce. How does reduce help us with our current task at hand? The reduce method applies a function against an accumulator and each element in the array from left to right to reduce it to a single value, which is cool. We want to sum up everything in the value on the left and right side. So total, variable total, takes the array dot reduce function sum and value, return sum plus value. The total is 6. All right. So that sum plus the value. What if we do something different? Flattened 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, reduce function A and B, return A, concatenate B. Flattened is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is not going to end well for me as a death. Super death. I want to see 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 0, 1, 3, 6, 4 brings us to 10. Gotcha. Second call. Current value. What the deuce? Second call is 10. Current value, current index. It starts at 0. Everything equals 10. Second call, it equals 10. Its current index is 1. And it's returning 1. Third call is 11. The whole thing equals 11. It's... Oh, this is if you use all 3 parts of it. I think there's a way to set it up where you use 3 different parameters. Okay, I was trying to figure out what the hell is happening here. That makes more sense. So third call, if you're to use the third array, that'd be whatever it's called, and so forth and such and such. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. Something about something. Let's go to reducing. So we want to reduce the sides, and then we can deal with slicing stuff later. Array. Reduce. Can we just do A and B? Isn't there a function involved? Function A and B, sum and value, return blankety blank. Yeah. Aha! Sum all the values of an array. A to B, A plus B. What about specific values of an array? No? They're not into that? You know what? I bet we could put a for loop in there. That's what I bet we can do. I think we could put a for loop inside. Do I want to put a for loop inside of reduce? I don't think I do. I don't think I do. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Function followed by, oh god, something, curly braces with a closing parenthesis, and return A plus B. Nice. Let's do a quick check on that. Are we still inside our for loop down here? I don't know. What's happening in... Hey, Tenacious Raptor. What is the problem you're trying to solve with this? Never mind, I can tell you how to find the middle. You know how to find the middle? That's fascinating. Hold on. Right. Let me... Oh, this is awful. How do I feel like I need to be able to reference the middle. I feel like I want to add things and do stuff. Why, God, why? Okay, I think I may take you up on the offer on how to find the middle. But I'm just trying to come to terms with what I'm looking at right now. Let's do... I want to sum up... I want to do slice and reduce at the same time. My concern, though, is that I want to base slice off the middle. It's like I need to find the middle first, then I can do slice, and then I can return the total, but there's no need for me to do all of that extra stuff if I've found the middle. So I need to backtrack. So, find the total. Find the total. What if we just call this sum? Let's call that sum. Let's comment this out. Opening curly brace. Closing. Open and close. Closing for loop. Down here would be return sum. I just want to see if it's actually processing the total. I'm sure it is, but why? There's a lack of something. I don't even know where it's looking at. Return sum. There's a curly brace. I have no idea where that is. I don't even know where that issue is occurring. Variable sum, array reduce. That deserves a semicolon, and this deserves a semicolon. Maybe it's the fact that there's no value for that one. But it's commented out. I mean, everything here is commented out. The only semicolons that aren't commented out are that and that. Well, deuce could be missing. Or extra. This is so odd. I must be blind. Maybe it was the no, but it was commented out. It was commented out. Whatever. We'll get rid of it just in case. Is it? We must be returning inside of something. There's clearly got to be an error. What the deuce? Who does this belong to? Maybe we had a stray. It was a stray. It was a stray. Oh, God, it was a stray. Those bastards. So I was right, because I started counting up the closing tags for everything from the return statement up. And I was trying to make sure it was outside of the for loop, the return statement. That way it was on the same level, or scope, as all the other stuff. And I thought all the extra closing tags were needed, but it was that secondary one floating there mocking me. Typical. Anyways, 1 plus 2, so that's 3, 6, 10, 13, 14, 13, 15, 16. Okay, so that is 16. Expected 3, which is 4. So it gets the total. So what's the difference? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 3. That's 6. That's... I don't know what to do. So what am I doing currently? Right now we're adding... I'm totally missing it. We're totaling each one individually. We're going as 1 equal to all of this. Then we're going as 1 and 2 equal to all of this. Then we're going as 1, 2, and 3 equal to that, and so forth, all the way through. So that would be a regular for loop. Or reduce. Reduce would be fine, because it starts from the left and goes to the right. What if I were to reverse the array? That would flip it. And then we compare the values from the other side. And when the values... No. We want to go through and take each value. Maybe I want to push all of these. What if we do... let's take each value as we loop through it, and we get a new total each time. If there's ever a number that matches up with that. No. Guys, I'm doomed. I don't... It's basic math, so I know eventually I'll figure it out. My concern is that it's going to take me a hilarious amount of time to piece this nightmare together. There's a glaring hole in my logic right now, and I'm just not seeing it. We've got this. I know we can slice. But what would we want to do even if we sliced it? See, so how the did they get -3? Maybe we want to check each one. So that's what we're going to want to do. We want to check each integer and then total everything up. That's what's happening. We're checking each index. We're going to check 0, and then we're going to check 1, and then we're going to check 2 and 3 and so on. And if we were to check 2, so that would be 0 index, 1, and then 2. So that would be 30. You know, we go through a for loop a couple of times. We get to 30, and then we go check 0, slice. So left will be, let me put this back, left will be slice something. Oh, we just had it. God damn, we just had it. Slice will equal that, and then we're gonna do something with it though. Yeah, wait, don't mind me. This will be another variable. Like, oh, left sum. Yeah, left sum. There we go. So this will be, why doesn't that want to be, oh, it's because this doesn't. Okay, watch this. We're gonna get there. Left, and let's move the comment down to here. All right. Okay, hold on. Watch this. Variable right sum. Yeah, okay. So here will be array sack of death. Array something or other. Array dot slice 0, because it's starting from the left, to I, or would it be array I? Fook. What would that be? No, it'd be to the array, to the index. Array dot index of. Crap, we're back to our index of fiasco all over again. Index of. Just look for it now. Index of. Shit, they're not going to cover though, because this is a stupid, extraneous case. They're not going to cover a for loop in the examples. At least I don't think they will. You know what, we find we can test it. We don't have, 1,000 lines of code we're dealing with or more. We can just run a quick little test. We'll do array, similar to this one down here. Array index of I. So array I, which is awesome. I think that should be fine. Array.index of, so we want the index of this array for that number. Seems a little redundant. Maybe it should just be I. Don't worry. It's gonna be great. From here, since we have an I, that means it needs to be inside the for loop. So that means our for loop isn't actually a total waste. Kinda cool. And with that said, let's go ahead and check out, let's drop this guy in. Copy, no, cut. Wait a second, hold on. Before we go cramming that into our for loop, what's the next bit? Because this is the same kind of rinse and repeat thing from what's it called? For the right side. So we can do array slice blankety blankety blank. And actually it's nice because slice, if I'm not mistaken, you can just do a single parameter and it will just run to the end of it. +1. I really hope I can do this. I hope digit-wise or data type-wise that those mesh well. Last time when I tried returning stuff, the index of something, +1, it was just concatenating a 1 at the end of everything. So like this would have been 31, and I felt like an idiot. Ugh. And this would have been an 11, and this would have been a -11. That would have been 31. Because it just concatenated a 1 at the end of it, because I had the wrong data type, and I was not pleased with that. That was another late night stream where I couldn't figure out what the hell I was doing. What else am I looking at from here? So, once we have our left side designated and our right side designated, we need to be doing something. We're on the hunt for we don't necessarily know that there's going to be a middle. So we're going to be checking to see if one is the middle by looping through each one. So we have these set up, which go inside of our for loop. Left, command, right, and cut, and paste. There's that noise. Okay, and now we need to do the sum for those. So now what? We need to take, after we can find left and right, well, we've got array I. What are we doing with array I? Once we have array I, we will be slicing things up, and that will be left. And now we need to take left and reduce it. So left sum will be left reduce. Cool. Left reduce, which also needs to go here inside the for loop. And then same song and dance with right sum. Left reduce. And we don't need to worry about stopping anywhere because it'll be all of the characters that got returned. So let's just make this equal. Copy. There's that, and this will be right. I'm sure there's a much more clever, succinct, sleek, better way of doing this, but this is the way that makes sense in my mind, and there's still an 87, possibly 98.3% chance that this is all going to fail and be for naught, but at least we're having fun. Cut, we're cutting. Yeah, wow, it's after 1 o'clock and we're just completely delirious. cut. Yeah, and oh, it goes under here. Do we want to keep it left and right in sync, in tandem? I don't think anyone else gives a damn about this except for me right now, which I'm okay with. Let's back this up and bump this forward. And rinse and repeat. Cut that. And shimmy this here with one of these. Boom, that's right. Yeah, yeah. All kinds of crazy. So now that we have that bit, now what we need to do, hey, and now my if statement makes sense. I don't feel like an idiot. So, if left sum is equal to the right sum, print this out. Else, do we want to push or... We can call it index. What were they calling it before? You know what? The task is called equal sides of an array. So we could just do variable equal. I think that would be fitting. Variable equal. However, we could put it in the for. We'll do it up here. Variable equal. Just a placeholder. What data type would it return? It would be an equal type. No need to get specific. We'll just leave it as a generic one. Generic variable, our favorite flavor. So this could be equal dot push. Can you push to a non... You know what it would be? It would be equal equals that. Else equal equals that. Return equal. Ta-da! Beep-diddy-dee-dee-dee. Again, this could burst into flames at any moment. I think we should all just come to terms with that now. So don't hold your breath. I know I'm not. Now, although these are all nice kind of formulas, does that still work when the first number is empty? At index 0, the left side is empty. The right side is blah, blah, blah. They both equal to 0 when added. Empty arrays are always equal to 0 in this problem. I don't know if I'm supposed to tell it that, like a switch statement, or a variable or something. Like an else if type of issue. Maybe I do an else if. Maybe that'll help. Oh. One. Else if. Else if some other kind of thing equals blank. If... Can I just like, hit them with it, you know, like, straightforward, empty curly braces. I feel like that's a little too on the nose. Let's see how it goes without the else if stuff. Let's just, fingers crossed, this bird lands. Everyone walks out of here alive. I don't see that happening, but we can dream. So from here, do something. Is that right? I'm concerned to run it because when I hit run, I know there's going to be all kinds of devastation, and the motivation to continue on is just, it's going to plummet. It's still going to be there, but we're going to basically Google the answer after this, which kind of sucks. Sack of death. Of course they were pissed. Reduce of empty array with no initial value. I believe that was exactly what we were just trying to deal with. I think it was running, and I think it came across this issue. Which makes things frustrating. Because super death. What would I do to tell it when that happens? You know what was it? Run. Undefined. Reduce an empty array. Array reduce. Find. Even index. Promise. Blah, 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 blah. Can I just tell it undefined equals 0? What if I do... Don't mind me. Let's comment out all of this noise really quick. 1, 2. Super death. Right? Left. Equals. Watch this. Empty parentheses. I want to see what happens when I run that. It gives me empty parentheses. How do I tell it empty parentheses equals 0? Empty parentheses equals 0. It's not empty parentheses, though. It's not. You know what it is? It's an empty array that's being returned because it's an empty index. They use the curly braces as an example. Ta-da! But it's actually an array, and when they use something like 20, it's returning an empty spot. Like 20, it's just, there's an itch. I don't know, in my mind, that's the way it works. Everything sucks. Just deal with it. I'm confused. Run. What do we get? Little cat? Hey, no, none of that. None of that. Thank you. Thank you. So, first of all, let's go through. No. Oh my god, you're stepping on code. Tiny cat. Yeah. There you go. Oh, okay, we're all, yeah, she didn't totally destroy the mic stuff. Okay, oh my god. Happy thoughts, Steven. Happy thoughts. This is what you signed up for. Something about something. What were we doing? Oh my god, Cat. What did you type? You son of a... Princess, I love you. You're so damn cute because you're covered in fur, but I swear to God. You're quite the nuisance. Don't you? That was not an invitation to come back and step on the keyboard. Hey, I've got your face. Look at that. Look at that. I love you so much. Later. Later. Go away. Go be a cat on the bed. What's that? Is that a bed? Go get the bed. Please, God. No, no. Stop right-clicking. Oh my God, the trackpad. And your tail. Okay, I will give you approximately 9 seconds of scratching, alright? If you take your foot off of the trackpad. Your 9 seconds start now. Swear to God. There. Good. Look, you get an extra few more seconds. Because you're soft and warm. It's really hard to stop. But just there. Go. What's that? Wiggly fingers. Holy sh... Yeah, all of them are moving. I mean, my God. She's ridiculous. What am I doing? The cat totally distracted us. She was trying to sabotage the stream. We all saw it. Okay. I was about to bop you on the nose, little one. I wanted to simply test and see what the hell was actually being returned for each of these variables. I think that's a perfectly reasonable request. So let's do return left and see what happens. Okay, nothing happens. Totally cool. I didn't want anything to happen. Now let's do return something. Return left sum. Left sum. Typical. So why do they hate us again? Type error. Reduce of empty array with no initial value. Sounds problematic. Sounds like that would be an issue. Is our for loop broken? For array dot length. We're going to go through starting at 0 plus 1 for each and do something with it. So we want left. It's this guy. I know it's this guy. That means it's stupid. Let's go back to left. Let's go back to left. Rhymes with Steven. Rhymes with left. Run it. Met with colossal failure. Right? But let's change that. Let's get rid of that noise. And run this. Run stuff. Woohoo! Yes, it returned things. I have the power. No. He-Man. 1, 2, 3, 4. What the deuce? 1, 2, 3. What? Why did it... Hold on. I just... Wait. Reduce of an empty array with no initial value. Blankety blankety blank. So what if we also do this and run it? They're pissed again. Fair enough. And just to check, just for shits and giggles, why not do one of these? And see how much we can truly upset them. Oh my god, that works. Fascinating. Is there any difference between this and the other error? I do prefer, to be completely honest, this with the parameters. It feels right. See, run it again. Ta-da! Beep-a-dee-dee-dee-dee. Beautiful. Let's continue on. Let's try left sum now. Left sum. That is fucking astonishing. It's actually slowly starting to work. Yeah. Expected a 3, got 15. Don't worry about that. Even though it should have been 16. 1, 2, 3. Plus 3, 6, 10, 13, 15, 16. But it's not counting the last one. It's cutting it off at the end. Remember? Yeah, you remember. So, array I. Sack of death. How do we... That means it's going to be... Let's now focus on the right side. Now let's do right. Spot correcting, debugging our code. Does this count as debugging our code? I want to learn how to debug code. Maybe it's just implied that this is what it is, but after 240 days, I've yet to see a course or anything, or like a class, or a challenge called like debugging or how to debug. Is that a separate skill set? Is that a totally different process, or is it simply just like proofreading your code? I kind of, after 240 days, I kind of feel like it's simply proofreading code. And there's no special debugging thing, language, or how. I mean, maybe there's a how-to guide, best practices. I mean, that could be applied to literally anything. Whether you're a blacksmith or a sandwich maker, there's usually rules to follow, best practices. So I'm sure the same thing could be said about debugging. But anyways, we're SP. I don't know what we're doing that. Right. We are procrastinating because we're confused. So we changed it, and now we get from the +1. Holy shit, it worked. That is astonishing. I mean, my god. The times that we come up with an idea that barely works is just spectacular. So, more importantly, though, for variable blank 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 left equals all of this, and all of that, and all of this, and all of that, and blah blah blah. So if left and right equals will be array let's just do return equals. Is that cool? Oh, no, we can't do that yet. We will do that out here, though, because I can. Oh, no, I can't. No, I can't. That was a dumb idea. I can't do any of those. I think everything's gonna be fine. Do write some. I think life is slightly better now. I don't know why it gets the type error. Why? Just be happy. Let's do it. Let's run it. Not write some, but equal. And we can just leave it as a fun variable. Chilling out here, doing its thing. Run it. I smell death. Holy shit, it actually returned something. Well, that's all kinds of intriguing, but it returned... Why? Hold on. We dealt with this before. Even though we're going number by number, it wasn't just return A, B. It was... something else. Come on, think of it, Steven. Think of it. It was similar to plus equals. It was like... left, some... No. Was it push? Did he want to push each of those to it? And then check and compare? There was another step. There was another step between all of this. It was like... it was either plus, equals, all that noise. I know left sum is already used, but that's a bad example name for that. We're gonna get there. We are gonna get there. It was left sum... maybe left array. We'll call it left array, because it stores all the values. So left array can be a variable, and it can live outside the for loop, beyond. Variable left array, which also has a friend, right array. Why are you a capital L? Emptiness, variable, right array. So these will be something. Each one gets pushed to left array dot push? Is that right? God, that seems messy. Push AB. God, I hope that works out. Left array, right array. Yeah. it's still not going to deal with those zero issues. We need to have a special else if it equals 0. If either index array, if either array 0 or array last of, what would that be? If, else if, close. Remind me later. Else if, while I'm thinking of it before I totally forget. Oh, Command Z, my bad. Curly bits, else if return stuff, 0. I don't know, something. If blankety blank array if array 0 equals left sum or array how do we do the last one? Array dot pop unshift array last of array. I thought there was like a last of one. Yeah, last of index. And we'll do, I'm pretty sure it's pop. We'll look at those two. Which one's easier to manipulate? Oh, that's for repeat cases. The last index of a method returns the last index which can be found. -1, the array searches backwards starting from index. Blankety blank. The index, see, this is also interesting. The index at which to start searching backwards is array.length -1. I know that's in general, and I guess I could do that if array.length -1 equals, and it should be equivalent. I need two equal signs. Equivalent, and I guess I could just do array length -1 is equivalent to right sum. Hold the phone. Flip those two. Right sum, left sum. Let's look at pop. I think that would be a good one to look at. So here, pop method removes the last element. We don't necessarily want to remove it. We're just trying to identify it. In that immediate moment, yes, it could be removed and looking at all that, but no. Just we'll leave it at array.length -1, and I think if it does lead to a fire, it should be a small fire. Worse things have happened. So, good to know. But poppin is a handy tool. So, I think we're getting close. I really do. If it's this or that, return. Well, shit, what do we want to return? return something. If array, oh, return, oh, fuck. How do we tell the difference between that? Two different ones. We have two else if statements. That's what's going down. That's what's going down. Return, not return, equal is kind of like a switch statement. I mean, like a shittily. Oh, God, wait, that's not a word at all. Poorly written. Crappily. We're failing. We're completely. This is like the 12 stages of delirium. We are in the 12th stage. Equals array 0. Followed by another else if statement. More accurately, copy and paste. This would be array length minus 1. Ta-da, beep-a-dee-dee-dee-dee, and this would be for the right. And this would be for the left. Totally should have done a switch statement there. The important thing is that we're aware of it. So from here, what else do we need to be worried about? We were doing stuff. It was the arrays. So we need to further tweak the sums. I think. I don't even know. Just everything is awful. That's what's happening. Maybe we keep the sums, because the sums are still helpful for the else if statements. If that's a thing, then do that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's, it removes the first one. If it's equal to that, good times. If it's equal to the last one, then cool. But is it going to know to check for that? How does it know what to do? Oh no. We're starting to question ourselves again. Son of a bitch. Just block out the train of thought, Steven. Don't freak out. Don't think about anything. What do we need to do? All we need to do now is simply take the stuff and do something with it. We need to refine the left sum and the right sum based off the left array and right array. Let's check left array first. Let's see if we get the equation, the tally to push each time. Return left array. Fingers crossed, kids. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Well, I don't think that worked at all. What to do? 1 plus that equals this. What does each sum Sum equals a plus b. And then push sum. Can I try that? Let's just drop it down one level. Copy this. Drop down. Sum equals a plus b. And return sum. How about that? Run left array. Damn. What is this 3 nonsense? What if we call it variable? We are doomed. We came so close. Don't. Alright, crisis mostly averted. Back into action. There's all kinds of things to deal with. It's like 1,000 degrees in here. I had to go turn on the air conditioning. Tackle a few other things. We are good to go. Okay. It's also, dear God, was it 144? Dear God, we made it so close. I think we're just gonna have to Google the answer at this point. Because I feel like my tweaks now, I think we've reached that point. Because it's not gonna lie, I think we did pretty good so far for today's CADA. But I think we've passed the point of making progress on our, hunches and guesses, and now I think we're starting to quickly de-escalate into negative territory. So let me put this back to what it was. It was right. I don't even know what it was. Oh my god. What's happening? Return equals. Oh my god. Nope, that's good. You wanted that. You want that. That is fine. That is fine. It was simply this bit. Return A, B. Hey, Yum Yum. How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. We are in the midst of solving yet another CADA. This one we came so close to. In general, it's we're trying to find the midpoint or the index at where the left side of it is equal to the right side of it. So for this particular one, 100 is that midpoint. Everything to the left of 100 is equal to everything to the right. 50 minus 51, negative 1, plus 1 brings us to 0, plus 1 brings us to 1. So 1 and 1. The sums of each side of 100 balance out, and we're returning index 1 as our answer for that guy. Ta-da! So that's that. We had set up a couple. I had a general variable equals to return equal, and I just did equal equals a couple different things for what I needed it to be. I should have set up a switch statement, I think, for this, but in general, we've got our for loop, which goes through array dot length, and we've got both slice and reduce. The way slice works, it starts from 0 in the index and goes to the index of I in the for loop. So it's checking each one. So it should be, in my mind, going 1 plus 2. And then, oh, maybe it's going 1 plus 2 plus 3. No, it is. That's fine. It doesn't matter. It's going 1 plus 2, which is 3, and then 3 plus... That is that. At least I think it is. I don't even know what's happening anymore. I'm so confused, but the point is, it starts to the left, add everything's up to the index of I in our for loop, and then same thing for right. It goes from index I and counts everything ahead of it afterwards. Is that what's happening? I don't even know what's going on anymore. Everything's terrible. Now that I'm looking at my code, it looks highly questionable. Yum Yum just woke up. Dear God, this is probably the last thing you want to be looking or watching after just waking up. I need to go to sleep. And now that I look at my code with fresh set of eyes after coming back from the quickly stepping away, this all seems like insanity. It's been an hour and 45 minutes of pain, so I'm just going to Google the crap out of it. Equal sides of an array. I'm actually going to Google just that. Closing, closing, closing. Equal sides. Hold on. Do I Google it now, or do I save it for tomorrow? So rarely do I leave cases for another day. But I usually feel so defeated by them. I think I want to save this for tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to Google the answer. We're going to hold it off. We may Google it tomorrow, We'll try it tomorrow. But we're gonna hold off for now. The mystery will be saved for another day, and we can call it quits. That'll be good. We made interesting progress. We're not quite there, but we're on our way. Yeah, good. We're gonna leave it at that for now. With that said, that really brings the end of the stream up rather quickly. Yum, yet again, you've caught the tail end of another stream. Although, lucky for you, this is not how you should be spending your Saturday mornings. At least I wouldn't want to be spending my Saturday mornings watching some crazy person struggle learning how to code. But each his own, I suppose. We are looking for nothing more. It was a valiant effort. It set it equals when we hit run. It spits out the negative ones. So it can't quite process all of that. So it's spitting that out. We'll need to work on setting up the left array and the right array tomorrow and deal with left sum and right sum. Awesome. Good times. Yum. It's a nice way to wake up. You must have lowered your standards of nice, just like how we lowered our standard of awesome over the last 240 plus days. Progressively, it's gotten lower and lower. But that's all right. It's all part of the fun. Okay, so yeah, our things are kind of working. It is checking left and it is checking right. They're just not quite doing anything. You know what it is? It's not left. It's left sum and right sum that we want to check. That's the other thing. And that's also fine. But that was just another issue I noticed. Well, again, back away. Good times. Let's leave that. Is there a save button? Or we just back out? We just back out. Let's do attempt. Yeah, good. Awesome. Yum. I love the smell of programming challenges in the morning. Apocalypse Now. Good reference. I saw the director's cut movie of that one time. It was like 6.5 hours. You basically live the war in real time. Dear God. Anywho, there's that. We're leaving this. A hiatus. The rare 2-part or 2-day CADA. You're witnessing it now, ladies and gentlemen. Stopping halfway through. Still, currently, 71% of the way through. Level 6 here at CODEWARS. And still at 37,795 for our position. In the meantime, we are backing out into OBS. Thank you again to anyone and everyone who stopped by to view the stream and or /assist. Today we had COSIQQ, AA Scripts, as well as OC Tamer and Tenacious Raptor, and of course, Yum. Alright, and to anyone else who may have accidentally stumbled in here, thank you. Any and all views are greatly appreciated. Day 244 comes to an end. Day 245 is on the horizon. In the meantime, we are stopping the stream. Are you sure you want to stop the stream? Hell yeah. Kill it!